What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Mitch here of the Bottom Line View, back with another SmackDown Live review. This one is for the June 13th edition of SmackDown Live, also known as the Money in the Bank Go Home Show. It's just myself tonight, no Dilly Vanilli. He had some stuff going on, but we did a Raw review together last night. If you missed that, make sure you check the Raw review out. I think Raw was probably a little bit better than SmackDown this week. SmackDown has not been good for a long time. Now, it was on a hot streak in like the summer, I would say, of this past year, and then maybe even it's just been bad since WrestleMania, I would really say. Like, SmackDown was the superior show when they started the brand split. And now it's just fallen off the face of the earth, and we just get these terrible shows week in and week out with no storytelling, no character development, and just boring, dull, cookie-cutter shows. And that's why the title today is a cookie-cutter bore fest, because that's exactly what this SmackDown Live was for June the 13th, 2017. That's exactly what it was. All right, so we're going to get into this show, but before we do, make sure you hit that like button, support the channel. Also, subscribe if you are new and you enjoy the WWE, NFL, NHL, NBA. We cover all those sports and more here on the Bottom Line View. I think you would enjoy. Check out our channel. We do videos every single day. This morning or this afternoon, myself and Dylan played through an episode of GM Mode. We did Judgment Day on SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. If you haven't already checked that series out, it's probably my favorite series that's going on the channel right now. So make sure you check that out. Daivari swerved Kurt Angle, swerved him, and he turned on him at Judgment Day. So make sure you check that out, guys. So let's get into the SmackDown Live review for June 13th, 2017. Again, I'm not going to be doing much of the recapping, just more reviewing and going over my thoughts. So this was the Money in the Bank Go Home show. So we expect some big time stuff to happen. We expect the show to be built up so that people buy the network or get it for free. It seems like every single month you can get it for free. So let's get people to get it for free and then watch the Money in the Bank. But this show did absolutely nothing to sell Money in the Bank. It did squat. It did zero to sell the pay-per-view / network special that they're having this Sunday, which is Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank, to me and to wrestling fans in general, will sell itself because of the match concept and because a lot of people like the match concept. But the show, the writing, and the stories did nothing to sell it. Getting to the chat real quick, and this is where you guys can hit me up with questions or your thoughts on the show. Chris Crypto is there. Blue Jackets 360 is there. What's going on, guys? Blue Jacket says, you are awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. If you guys have any questions about the show, any comments or anything, make sure you live chat it to me so I can see it and I can respond to you. That's a big part of the reason why we do these shows live, so that we can get your intake and we can respond with you guys and we can build a community here on the Bottom Line View. So on the opening segment, we had a tag team basically promo with the 4 tag teams that are really on SmackDown Live. That's the New Day, the Clones, the Usos, and the Fashion Police. These 4 tag teams really don't know why they were in this segment, because the New Day and the Usos is the match. So at this point in time, this is a go-home show. Shouldn't you be trying to sell the Usos versus the New Day? But no. What do? They have their Ring Around the Rosie, pass the mic around segment that nobody enjoys, and they've been doing over and over, and recycle it and throw it back and put it on the, like, this is what they do every single week. It doesn't matter if it's the tag team division, it's the main event, or if it's the women's division. They will, swear to God, have one of these segments every single week, and it gets repetitive, it gets boring, and it really means nothing at the end of the day. When you actually strip down this segment, what happened? Absolutely nothing. All that happened was for them to lead into a match. That's basically all that happened in this segment. the cool thing that happened in the segment was the New Day had their own New Orleans entrance. I thought that was kind of cool, how they came out to like a different style of entrance. And they kind of, because they were trying to sell the fact that New Orleans has WrestleMania this year, which it seems like the WWE pretty much puts all their eggs in WrestleMania nowadays to make their money, because of course they're making money on a regular basis, but they're not drawing those great numbers for any other show than WrestleMania. So it seems like they're always trying to sell WrestleMania. And I've been to the last 2 WrestleManias, so I understand what that feels like. Every show is so much worse and different than WrestleMania. WWE actually goes all out to make WrestleMania good. And I feel like the experience has been good when I've been there, and it's been a lot of fun to watch WrestleMania and be at WrestleMania. But the rest of the shows itself, like besides WrestleMania weekend, the shows have not been good in a long, long time. So, but the New Day had that special New Orleans entrance, which I thought was cool. So I was like, okay, maybe they're going to put some effort into this tag team division here, but it doesn't really seem like it. The New Day called the Usos basically a ripoff of Straight Out of Compton. The Usos, again, pulled off another great promo. They said, we are the ones that are putting in the work. You know, I think the Usos are the best tag team in WWE right now, and I don't think it's really close. Their balance between their promos, their character, and their in-ring work is the best in the company, in my opinion. The Fashion Police come out, who I also enjoy because of the segments that you'll see later, and at least that they have a character. So they come out and they talk about how they're police and stuff, and I don't even know what that has to do with anything. I quite honestly don't even know why the Fashion Police and the Colognes are even out there. Like, why are the Fashion Police and the Colognes out there? There is 5 days to go until Money in the Bank. The match is Usos New Day. The match isn't Colognes New Day. The match isn't Fashion Police Usos. It's Usos New Day. So let's try and sell Usos New Day. We don't need to see a 6-man tag match. We don't need to see that. Can we build some storyline? Can we build something for us to be interested in this match? What is the story for the New Day and the Usos other than the fact that the New Day want the titles? That is not a story. That is just 2 teams wrestling each other. Let's get a story here. But we didn't. So then what happens is they have the 6-man tag match. New Day wins with the up, up, down. I guess that's what they're calling it by Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods' YouTube channel is called Up, Up, Down. I'm not sure if they just said that because that's his YouTube channel or if that's his actual finishing move. But Xavier Woods hit the up, up, down. I'm going to call it for the victory. The match had a commercial in it, which takes the buzz out of the match if there was any to start it. I hate it when they put commercials during matches because it completely ruins the momentum of the match. You would never put a commercial during a pay-per-view match. Like, that, it doesn't make sense. So why do you put a commercial in the middle of the match? You can choose when the commercials go. You know what I mean? You should be using the commercials as a way to foreshadow and give cliffhangers for your show. When you watch a regular, like, top-notch TV show, what they'll have with right before commercial is some sort of cliffhanger to make you come back after the commercial to watch it. Now, a lot of people skip through the commercials nowadays because they record it and stuff, but still, that concept still works, especially for something like SmackDown and Raw where it's live. Right? It's a live show, and a lot of people still watch SmackDown and Raw live. God bless them. But I mean, a lot of people still watch it live. So when a new viewer is tuning into your show, wouldn't it be wise to have a cliffhanger before the commercial and not the middle of a match and then cut the middle of the match and then have the second half of the match when somebody was getting into the match possibly, and then it cuts off, and then they have to re-establish the match to you. It's so much harder on the wrestlers. It's so much harder on the show. It just doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Okay, so the New Day do end up winning that match, but I just don't understand why there was nothing built up for the Usos and the New Day and why the Fashion Police and Colognes were even in this. We had another separate segment with Fashion Police later on, which I enjoyed, but other than that, I mean, the tag team division, I thought is probably better than the Raw tag team division. The Hardys are just boring. Like, they have nothing to offer right now. That they seem confused. Cesaro and Sheamus, I've never really been a fan of them. And then you have, I don't even know, the Club. Enzo and Cass is an interesting storyline going on, but right now SmackDown does have the better tag team division, but it's mostly because of the Usos and the Fashion Police, who actually have characters, but they still don't give them like storylines or anything, and it's just very cookie cutter garbage. Next, we have a John Cena returns little promo to get you interested for July the 4th edition of SmackDown Live. John Cena is going to be returning, and he's going to be returning as a free agent. So that's kind of interesting. That gets you drawn into what they're going to be doing on July the 4th, because he's a free agent. Is he going to sign with Raw? Is he going to sign with SmackDown? I remember they did this like back in 2002 with Stone Cold when he was going to be drafted to Raw or SmackDown. Cena, is he going to be on Raw or SmackDown? Because he was never, I don't think he was ever drafted or like transferred, whatever the hell they did back then, the switch up or what was it called? I don't remember. But John Cena, he is a free agent. So he could be on Raw, he could be on SmackDown. He's going to return to SmackDown, and then possibly he could transfer over to Raw. I've heard two possibilities for Cena. Rather, he could face Reigns at SummerSlam, or he could face Jinder Mahal. So there's two possibilities there. What I would do I would have Cena face, and this is my personal opinion, I would have Cena face Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam after Jinder Mahal beats Orton. But they haven't been doing a great job with Jinder Mahal, as I'm going to get into in a little bit. But if you want to make a star out of your champion, then have Jinder Mahal beat Cena at SummerSlam. That would be the best way of doing it. Then we have a backstage segment with Shinsuke, Sammy, and AJ. This was cringeworthy. I don't know what Sami Zayn's character is. I don't know if he's the goofball. I don't know if he's just the mark. Like, what is his character? He's trying to be funny, and like they're trying to make him like this funny character, but it's like cringeworthy. I don't know who finds this funny at all. The only thing that I did think was funny here was Shinsuke's actual response. And you guys know me, I'm not a huge Nakamura fan, but I thought that was a pretty funny response. The way that he like took it, his facial expressions were pretty funny. And then I don't remember his line, but he was like, "Oh yeah, I like that guy." He's like, "I like that guy." I like the way that he actually delivered that. And that's rare for me to say, because I've been kind of ripping apart WWE for making Nakamura speak English when he's not great at English. But he actually really delivered that line strong. His facial expressions were like great. And I thought Shinsuke did a good job with that. And I'm going to tell it how it is. But Sami Zayn, God, like, could he get any worse at this point to me? I don't know. Then they have a Mojo Rawley interview. I thought this was okay. He talked about how he handles adversity, and he knows that he handles adversity well. He lost last week to Jinder, but he's going to take that loss, and it's going to make him better. You're going to see the best Mojo Rawley yet. Then Zack Ryder says that he's back to Mojo and that they have unfinished business as a tag team. So there's a couple interesting things they could do with this. If I'm a thinking man, they could have Zack Ryder return and be the tag team partner of Mojo Rawley, and then set them off on a tag team run. And then potentially you could have Zack Ryder turn on Mojo, or you could have Mojo turn on Zack. Like, there's a lot of possibilities with a guy that returns from injury, because you have that storyline potentially of Zack Ryder being jealous maybe of Mojo Rawley because he got all that attention with Gronk at WrestleMania, and he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and you could do something with that too. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with this, but I don't expect WWE to go with it anywhere creative. I just expect them to get back together as a team, and then they'll book them in some tag team matches as they do. But that's what I was thinking when that happened. Let's get to the comment section. We have a lot of people in the chat. Henderson says, or Tyshawn Henderson says, who do you want to win the men Money in the Bank and the women Money in the Bank matches? For the men Money in the Bank match, I don't really know who I want to win, because I'm not like a huge fan of any of the wrestlers. I would have said Baron Corbin like a while back, like for me to want to win. I don't want Owens to win. That doesn't make it won't make sense. Ziggler won't win the match. Sami Zayn won't win the match. I think it's between Corbin and Shinsuke, I think. Is that it? Who else is in the match? Corbin, Owens, Ziggler, Nakamura, Sammy. Oh, AJ Styles. AJ Styles could win, but I don't know what that would do for AJ Styles. I think the clear answer is Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, I don't know why you would go in a different direction. You could potentially go with Baron Corbin, but I think they're going to go with Shinsuke Nakamura, and I think that's the right call. There is kind of a swerve, though. At the end of the show, they do have Nakamura raise the Money in the Bank, and by WWE booking, usually that means that the guy that goes over on the go-home show doesn't go over at the pay-per-view. But I think the clear answer is Nakamura. Not the guy that I want to win, but I think the clear answer is Nakamura. And maybe he even is the guy that I want to win because I want to see someone become a star. Like, I'm not sure if Nakamura can become that star, but at least give him a chance. I mean, give him a chance to. So I think the Money in the Bank could help him with that. But I don't know how well his character fits the Money in the Bank. Maybe it could, but Baron Corbin would be good. Styles, I mean, he could win because he's AJ Styles, but I don't really see how that fits him, like I said. So I think those would be the three guys that I think will win. But the one that I think, or the most likely to win, but I think the one that is going to win is Shinsuke. And the women's Money in the Bank, I would definitely say Lana needs to win the match. I would definitely say Lana needs to win the match. You just debuted her. She's had 2 big weeks in a row. She's gaining momentum. She needs to win the match. Simple as that. You can make a star in Lana. I don't care if she's not great in the ring. She is a star. She's a great talker. She has a character. She's hot as hell, and a lot of people love her. So why not give the Money in the Bank to Lana? Plus, by giving the Money in the Bank to Lana, you don't catapult her into the women's championship scene right away. You actually give her time to develop and give her time to kind of know her, kind of maybe develop more and kind of know her place in the women's division and gain some experience as being an in-ring talent more. You know, give her the Money in the Bank, get that momentum behind her, give her that spark, but also give her experience because you're not thrusting her right away. Because remember, the Money in the Bank can hold it up for a year. So you could potentially wait an entire year with Lana. I probably wouldn't do that. I would maybe wait. I would wait some time, but I wouldn't wait an entire year. But Lana can gain that experience and kind of come into her own as a in-ring performer. We already know how great she is as a talker, as a manager, but let's see her come in like into her own as an in-ring performer, because not only is it different as a performer because you're wrestling, but it's also different because you're actually, you know, it's just different than being a manager or being a different talent on the show or a commentator or anything like that, because you're an actual wrestler that's competing. So in the show. But yeah, I think Lana should win for sure, and I think Shinsuke is the most likely to win the men's one. Going to the chat for WWE Boy says, "What's up, Mitch? Haven't been on the chat in a while. What's going on, man? Nice to see you in the chat." He says, "New Day to me is just boring. The gimmick kind of sucks now, and honestly, they need to break up and turn Big E heel and become a more dominant singles competitor." I thought they were going to turn Big E a long time ago. I think Big E is by far the standout on that team, like you said, and I think he could easily become a main eventer. He has all the tools. He's become charismatic. You know, remember when he started in the WWE? In NXT, he was kind of dull, and then when he turned to WWE, he had that whole AJ and Ziggler thing, and that didn't really work for him. He finally found his way in the New Day, and it finally worked out for him, and he became a star. And he's been really one of the more popular and consistent talents over the course of a couple of years now for the WWE. I would love to see him turn on the New Day, or, you know, even like just break off from the New Day somehow, because I think he has all the tools to become a main eventer. I would love to see him and Xavier maybe go off. I don't know what they would do with Xavier, because I think Xavier is still like a usable talent. Like, I would love to see Xavier be a commentator. I've said that once before. I would love to see him as a commentator or a manager. I think Kofi Kingston is kind of nearing the end of his career, but he can still do some solid things in the mid-card as well, or even just form a tag team with Xavier and just, you know, have Kofi or have Big E be the singles competitor going off on his own and keep the New Day as Kofi and Xavier. You could still do that maybe, or you could have Xavier become a commentator or a manager, because I don't think he's great as a singles competitor, because I just can't take him seriously because he's kind of small and it doesn't really work, you know. Blue Jacket says, hey, my B-Day is in 5 days. Well, happy birthday on June 19th. Clark says, same old concepts, different week. Only thing that with intrigue was Lana's finisher. Her finisher is way better than Jinder's move, just saying. He also says, it almost makes me not want to tune into the Money in the Bank. Chauncey says, Brother Nero, I knew you'd come. And I'll also talk about the Lana finisher in a bit. I did like that too. WWE Boy says, Sami Zayn needs a character. Clark says, most of WWE characters are cringeworthy. Chauncey screams, Lana is not Money in the Bank. Clark says, Lana versus Naomi for the women's title is happening at Money in the Bank. Oh, really? See, that's how much I'm paying attention, bro. That's how much I'm paying attention. I thought Lana was in the Money in the Bank match. Who's in that then? See, they didn't even explain that on the show because I missed last week, remember? I wasn't here. So they have Carmella. Oh, then it should be Carmella. If it's not Lana, then it should be Carmella. So does that mean Lana is going to win the title? How is she going to win the title, though? Like, I can't see her winning it straight up. They didn't even build up Naomi and Lana. Like, it was like 3 weeks. It was like a 2-week build-up. See, that just makes me mad because I thought Lana was in the Money in the Bank. But if Lana's not in the Money Bank, and you guys are right, and she is facing Naomi, which I guarantee you she is, because that's what you said, and now it makes more sense for what they were doing tonight. Maybe I didn't really pay attention enough. But Lana, like, does she win the title? But, like, you can't make her lose. She has to win. She has to win. And then for the Money in the Bank match, now that I'm reconsidering my thoughts, there's Becky Lynch, there's Charlotte, there's Tamina, Natalya. It's only 5, right? And Carmella. I would have Carmella win. Personally, I've had Carmella win. I could easily see Charlotte winning. I could see Becky winning. I think the intrigue about the women's Money in the Bank is that a lot of them can win. I would probably cancel out Tamina and Natalya for winning the match, but the rest of them I could see winning. So 3 out of the 5, I think, have a realistic chance, but I would definitely go with Carmella. It makes the most sense. I think it fits the character the best, and she is the one that is the youngest that needs the most of the push, and I think she's the most deserving of the push at this time because I think at this moment in time, she's proven herself to be the best talker, and I think she's proven herself to be the most entertaining, at least in my opinion. So I guess you would have Lana win. And then have Lana face Carmella, or just Carmella hold on to the title, because that feud doesn't make a lot of sense at this moment. Blue Devil says, Penguins, boy. What's going on, Blue Devil? Happy that the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. Chauncey says, Brother Nero, what up? What the club on your show? What? What are you talking about, Chauncey? You been smoking something? What are you talking about, bro? All right, let's get back to the show. So we have Naomi versus Tamina. So this is the match where Lana is ringside. First off, my first comment about this match is DC, which means don't care. I don't care about Naomi and Tamina wrestling. I don't know many people that would, but once Lana comes out, I guess it gives you a slight intrigue to pay attention because Lana's going to do something, and Lana is relatively new, so it still has that spark to it. Which, by the way, Lana looks freaking gorgeous in her entrance, man. Naomi wins with a split-legged moonsault against Tamina. We have We Want Rusev chants in the crowd, which I was cheering for because I'm a fan of Rusev. Lana then hits a finishing move on Naomi. Not quite sure what it's called, but it was like, if I remember it correctly, it might have been a face buster type move. I just remember like her like slamming her down with the leg, like her legs kind of open like that. It might have been a face buster sort of move, or it was like a slam. But I like the move. And this is what I was talking about last week. You have all this time to build up Lana, not last week, but the week before that. You have a couple of weeks now with Lana. You can teach her all week long. All you need her to do is this one move. Her one finishing move to make a moment, right? Make a moment, make a stamp, make some buzz. That totally reminds me of the Sable Powerbomb back in the Attitude Era. Lana does her move here, like that, girl that you didn't think could wrestle now can wrestle type of spot there. Obviously wasn't as big as Sable, but Lana hitting that move was pretty cool to see. I really liked that spot. It was very simplistic, but with somebody like Lana who's gone from a manager to a wrestler, and the story is kind of like the other women don't take her seriously as an in-ring competitor. That is a big moment in the story, so I enjoyed that, and that was good. So that was one of the positive points of the show. Then you have a Jinder Mahal in-ring promo, and the Singh brothers introduce him. And my question is, why don't we do the elaborate entrance that he had during his celebration? Let's make this guy feel special. When they made JBL champion out of nowhere, they gave him that special limo entrance. Why don't we give Jinder Mahal a special entrance? His entrance is decent, like with the rug going out like that on the ramp, but I like it more if you have like the dancers and the whole celebration type of feel and the whole Punjabi thing. I like that more, and it makes him feel more special, especially with WWE now, where I always comment that their best things are their entrances and their video packages. I would think that Jinder Mahal would get better treatment with his entrance, but it's okay, but it could be a lot better, and it can make him feel a lot bigger and more like a star. But the problem with Jinder Mahal is that they haven't done anything with him since Backlash. This has been my biggest complaint in WWE from a week-to-week basis, is that they don't utilize their main event scene enough. With your main event scene, you should have them in the beginning, you should have them in the middle, and you should have them at the end of the show. You should have them in multiple segments. There should be a thread throughout the show with a storyline for Jinder Mahal every single week. And all we saw this week was a promo where he gets RKO'd, and that was it. We saw nothing else from Jinder. You're WWE champion. You want to make him this big deal. You push him to the moon, and then you do nothing with him. That absolutely makes no sense to me. So during this segment, I basically summed up what happened, but Jinder says that this Sunday he'll prove to Orton that he is nothing and he is a coward. He's going to disappoint his family, and even after Jinder mentions his father's name, he won't face him like a man. He says he fears Jinder Mahal and that he's going to cut down Randy's legacy piece by piece. The day of Orton has passed. We are in the new modern day, whatever he calls himself, Maharaja or whatever the hell he calls himself. We're in the era of the modern day, basically. We're in the day of Jinder Mahal. So then we get USA chants. And he speaks some Punjabi during these USA chants. I do like that part of his gimmick, but still, this promo did nothing. This promo did nothing for the feud. Randy Orton's music hits. He comes from behind, hits an RKO out of nowhere. Obviously, always a cool spot to see an RKO like that. But he hit the RKO on the Target rug. Like, that rug looked like it was from Target or some like they just went to like the corner store and they bought like this Punjabi looking rug and put it in the middle of it's no effort whatsoever. It's just a rug. Like, are you kidding me? It's just so basic and again, cookie cutter. But Jinder Mahal, man, he should be treated so much better. If you're going to build this guy up like he's the biggest star in the company, Make him the biggest star in the company. Treat him better. Have him throughout the entire show. Build him up. Like I always say, and I've been saying over the course of a few weeks now, how hard is it for a wrestler to get over in one singular segment, especially when he's getting RKO'd in it? Like, the more segments there are, usually the better, because usually you get more chances to get over with the crowd. The crowd gets more of a chance to understand you as a person and as a character, and it helps your stars. When stars are in more segments, you didn't just see Austin in one segment or one match every night. You saw him in multiple ones because they wanted to know, they wanted you to know, and they wanted to spell it out for you that this guy is a star, this guy is the center of our show. With Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton, he's just stuck. And it's in the second hour of the show where nobody cares. At least put him at the end. Like, come on. So that's my complaints for that. I just thought it was cookie cutter. Nothing special at all about that. And Randy Orton has done little to nothing. Like, he has literally done little to nothing. He's going out there, he's RKOing a dude and getting paid. I don't blame him at all. But they've had him nothing to do. Like, if this is all about family and if this is all about the modern day, why don't you bring a Cowboy Bob Orton out? Why don't you have a legend segment like that? Why don't you have Jinder go to Orton's house, and attack, why don't you have Jinder doing the legend killer gimmick and attacking some of the legends of Randy Orton and his dad's era? Like, aren't you doing that? It doesn't make any sense. Then we have Baron Corbin, Kevin Owens, and Dolph Ziggler backstage. Owens says that there are two options. They can work together and take the three of them out, or they could go out there and hurt each other. Again, basic, just letting us know that there's a 6-man tag match later tonight, and these three guys will be tagging with each other. That's basically all it did. And also building the Money in the Bank match, like being like, okay, we have a Money in the Bank match. We're going to be in it. That's it. And then we have a Randy Orton interview. And again, he says the bare minimum. He says, I said all I could say to Jinder in the ring. He's going to take what Orton says he's going to take what is his in his hometown this Sunday, which is the WWE title. That's all he said. Skippable segment. Nothing worthwhile. Nothing worth watching, to be honest with you. Skippable. Then we have Charlotte versus Natalya. Who cares? I do want to say this, though, Charlotte. Why are you doing that insane moonsault when it only gets you a 2 count? Have you ever won a match off that moonsault? You're going to get hurt doing the moonsault. And if this was real life, why would you keep doing the moonsault if it only ever got you a 2? She goes for the moonsault. She hits the moonsault. She gets a 2 count, and then she hits a stupid, what's it called? What's her finishing move called? The natural selection. Natural selection. She does the natural selection, and she gets a 3. But she hits a crazy moonsault backflip, and she gets a 2. What sense does that make, man? Then we have a Fashion Files. This was the best part of the show. Again, Fashion Files titled Sweet Victory. The voiceover I always really like. I love the voiceover with Fandango. And actually the opening line where he's like, I know what you're thinking. My pecs look great. I thought that was pretty funny. I started laughing at that. Tyler Breeze is knocked down in their cop room, in their, basically their, what would it be called? I don't know. Their office, let's say. So Breeze is knocked down in their office. And he says that he was attacked by 2 hideous monsters. 2 hideous monsters that had greasy hair. And Fandango's like, get some really good detail on this. Like, let's get some really good dirt. And then he's like, oh, they had greasy hair. They had dry skin. And I'm like, that's great. Like, that's totally what the fashion police would say. And he had 1 arm. And I'm like, what? 1 arm? And then Fandango is like, what? 1 arm? And he's like, no, 2 arms. And I'm like, that's so dumb, but like actually funny at the same time. And then you see the picture of what Fandango draws, and it could have been anybody. It was just 2 stickmen with like a little bit of long hair. But obviously they were probably referring to the Usos. I don't know. But I thought that was I thought that was a pretty good fashion files. But my question with these fashion files is, if Breeze keeps getting knocked down or like attacked, wouldn't they actually be pissed off and like one day go in the ring? Like next week, we should see Fandango, unless they address it in the fashion files and they do something in the fashion files. Next week, we should see Fandango go out there and be like, who attacked Tyler Breeze? Like, we should see them both go in the ring and call the tag team out or try and find them backstage or something of that matter. But I do really like the fashion files. I think it's super entertaining every week, and it's the best thing on the show pretty much every single time we watch. Okay. WWE says WWE Boy says WWE needs more big guys. Chauncey says Adam and Fitty Trent and Kevin, AKA the Club. Yeah, the Club isn't on the show tonight. I don't know what's going on, man. Chauncey says hashtag beat up Randy Orton. Why, you not a fan of Randy Orton, Chauncey? Arian says, I promised that I wouldn't comment, but if you're hearing this, Vince McMahon, please let your ego go and bring Vince Russo back. Raw lost 400,000 views last night. That's all. I couldn't agree more. Vince Russo is the man. And shit, anybody would be better. Let go of your ego, Vince. And Arian, you can still comment. I like your comments. Just don't cross the line, bro. You can comment. Don't worry about it. WWE Boy says they really need to make SmackDown more edgy. They need to make their whole product more edgy. WWE Boy says the fashion files are actually pretty funny. Not as funny, in my opinion, as the first few weeks. I probably agree with that. I did really like the opening line of this one, though, where he was like, I know my pecs look good. I love that line because it's like so random. Like, I don't know what he was just looking in a mirror. Then he says, the black and white is a bit too much, but I understand they try to fit in their characters. I like the black and white. I think it kind of suits the style they're going with, and you can kind of tell that they're going with this old school kind of 50s style, which I like. So that's that. Then we have a Lana interview, and she says, this Sunday, I'm going to shock the world when I crush Naomi and become the first ever ravishing SmackDown Women's Champion. So I was interested to see if she was keeping the accent, because obviously she doesn't have that in real life, but she is. So that's good. And I actually think it suits the character because she's a dancer. And I think she's kind of like almost like a ballet sort of dancer. And that definitely suits the Russian persona. So yeah, I like that, but it was a very basic interview. Once again, very cookie cutter. This whole show is cookie cutter. And we end the show with a classic 6-man tag match, almost like it was made from Teddy Long. And it was cookie cutter once again. We had Zayn, Shinsuke, AJ versus Corbin, Owens, and Ziggler. No Shane on the show. No Daniel Bryan on the show. Who the hell cares? Sammy beat Corbin again. For what reason? I have no idea. Ziggler attacks Styles after the match, and then Nakamura pretends like it's the Money in the Bank match and grabs the briefcase. Bro, it's not the Money in the Bank match. I don't know why you did that. I hate those spots. They're so stupid. They're laughably funny, because why in the hell would you beat yourself up for getting that Money in the Bank when it's not even the real Money in the Bank match? Why wouldn't you just leave? Like, it's such a stupid spot. Like, it's so childish. I just hate that spot. But Nakamura wins the Money in the Bank. Like, laugh out loud funny. Like, it's like, why? Like, I don't know. Whatever. But this was a terrible episode of SmackDown. There was only a couple of things that were actually watchable on the show. The rest was so basic. It hurt my head. Like, nothing really happened on the show. Like, that is one of the biggest questions you need to ask. So there's 2 questions you usually need to ask. Okay, especially on a go-home show, there's probably 3 questions. What happened on the show? What are people going to be talking about tomorrow? The third one would be, why should I purchase the WWE Network? And the fourth one you could add on there is, what's going to happen next week? Those are the 4 things that you could ask yourself. Okay, so would I buy the Money in the Bank, or is there anything that got me to buy the Money in the Bank? No. What's happening next week? I'm unaware of anything. You guys might know something, but I'm unaware of anything happening next week on SmackDown. So why should I tune in next week? And then what is the lasting image on this show? What are people going to be talking about tomorrow? People are possibly going to be talking about John Cena returning on July the 4th. That's about it. But people already knew that. So therefore, nothing. I don't really know. Maybe the Lana move. But that's it. That's it. Maybe the Lana finishing move. That's it. I'll give them credit for that. But that's it. Nothing in your main event, nothing in your tag team division, nothing in your mid-card title, nothing. Nothing about the Money in the Bank. People are not going to be talking about this show. Simple as that. And when people are not talking about the show, especially when it's the Twitter age and the YouTube age and the social media in general age, you're not giving anything to people for people to talk about. People love to talk about shows. People love to talk about movies. And SmackDown and Raw don't give anybody anything to talk about. So that's my review for SmackDown Live for June the 13th, 2017. I don't even feel like giving this a review. Quite honestly, if you guys have been noticing, I haven't been giving it a review for SmackDown for a while because I don't even know if it deserves one. I mean, you know it's going to be a bad review. I don't know exactly what the number would be. 3, 2, 1, 4. I don't know. There's something worse than a 4, probably a 2. This gave you no reason to watch the show other than maybe Lana, to see Lana win. But that's it. So that's all I got to say about this show. Thank you guys for tuning in. I always appreciate it. It's very rough that we got to sit through these shows, but we continue to chip away, and hopefully one day WWE will be back to its greatness, but we'll see. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Bottom Line View SmackDown live review for June the 13th, 2017. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Mitch of the Bottom Line View. Like the video, subscribe, and tune in to the rest of our videos this upcoming week. I know Dylan has a Kobe Bryant planned video this week. Fitty Trent just delivered a NHL video, so check that one out. The mock draft for the Las Vegas team. I will have the NFL Top 100 last episode coming out tomorrow. Make sure you check out the GM mode. Lots more coming to the Bottom Line View very soon. NFL coming up. And reviews have kind of been a little bit on hold. I was away like last weekend, so I wasn't able to get one out. But they'll be coming back very soon, and I'll be trying to put out more and more. If you guys would like us to do like any reviews of any old shows or like WCW or TNA or WWE, let us know. Thanks, guys. For the Bottom Line View, it's Mitch. Peace out.